Hello, welcome to another edition of the More Help Podcast. Today is June 16, 2022, and I conducted an interview with Mr. Shawndell Harrison. So right now I'm going to go ahead and read his bio, and then I'll jump into the interview. He says, "Hello world, this is Shawndell Harrison, an avid poet and aspiring author who has developed 4 poetry compilation books and has several books in development stages at the present time. It's a process when you don't have the help behind to push you to the next stage. I am a native of Washington, D.C., who's been incarcerated for over 20 years between doing state and federal time. But it took 2 decades on these weary roads for a long stretch of time to get to the real me and realize three things about myself. Those 3 things were my potential, my worth, and my purpose. It's safe to say that my literary expression began in solitude, where I found the root of me and spotlighted the realities from the falsehoods and addressed the complexities of love and lust, only to capture the emotions in their truest depths. My potentials are limitless because I recreated and created and grasped diversity and intrigue and initiative and abound them into a web of woven, provoking sustenance. My worth is significance. I am meaning, I am passion, I am power, and I am force. And lastly, my purpose is to be a voice, to take the high road and to lead with a vision, and not just talk to be heard, but to speak to be recognized, to take people from the shadows and bring them into the exhilarations of suspenseful sunshine. I'm standing on the balanced beams of a simple man and a poetic messiah. Hear me roar as the lion sits in this den. As a creative and innovative individual, I long to help the youth steer clear this dark cave I've hopelessly found myself in. With my mentorship and leadership qualities that's been built over these decades. And I also want to begin a foundation link with many foundations to form a chain link and resources and provide help for those needy of this network of people who want nothing more but to give back and no longer take away. I want to help the incarcerated fight this unbearable fight of injustice, because the system is a systematic stronghold that holds us in here like sinking quicksand. There's nothing ethical or righteous or justified under this veil of justice for all. Veil of justice for all. That's the farce. Under unity, freedom, and equality, there's nothing being liberated behind these walls. Men are dying here, and there's so many families who's turning the blind eye because they know there's not much help they can provide, and no one will do under the guise of protecting us as human beings first. So I'm seeking to be that voice and challenge the system and speak when no one wants me to be heard. I'm going to stand up long before I stand down. Why? Because I am the evolution, the breath that breathes into the souls of those who feel alone and defeated. I am Sincere Echoes. Till next time, one love, Sincere Echoes. Okay, so that is his biography. That's his pen name. Mr. Shawndell Harrison's pen name is Sincere Echoes. And we're going to go ahead and jump into the interview, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That way we can get as many viewers to see this content as possible. Share it with the world so these gentlemen continue to get their voices out there and share their stories with the world, their wisdom, their talent, and they have so much to offer. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Yes, I can hear you nice and clear. Okay. First, I just want to say thank you for joining the More Help podcast today. And I've been looking forward to this interview because I get to listen to a poet. Okay. So first, can you give the people your name and where you're currently at? Tell us how you're doing today.
Okay, I'm doing fine, everybody. How y'all doing today? My name is Shawndell Harrison, but they call me Sincere Echoes as my poetry name and my pen name. I am at not Leavenworth, USP Lee, and I'm presently doing fine. And you said, what else would you like to know about that now?
No, that's fine. That's good right there. So
Okay,
you're in USP Lee in Virginia, right?
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Uh, so I read over your bio, but can you please just give the people a quick rundown on your prison sentence and what you were charged with? I understand you've already been in prison for about 20 years now.
Yes, ma'am. Um, back in 2001, I was a young guy. I was 25 years old, and I went on the run, running from a case, thinking that was the best thing to do because I had a child on the way, and I wanted to be there to see the child born, which is my son, Sincere. Um, I was given 10 years when they wanted to give me in the state of Oklahoma. So they wanted to give me 64 years for a drug case out there. Well, after I finished doing 85% of that case, the feds picked me up 6 months later in 2010. Um, they gave me 188 months for a gun and ammunition. They initially found a gun in my possession, and they tried to give me a plea deal, where the plea deal was they would drop 3 guns that they found in my house, and they wouldn't seek the armed career. They turned around and gave me the armed career anyhow after I pled out, which takes away all my appeal rights.
Mm.
They was talking about giving me 360 months, which is 30 years, for just possession of a firearm as a felon. And I've been in presently on that case 12 years, so right now I'm at 20 and a half years. I should be getting discharged in the next 2 years.
This call is from a federal prison.
In the next 2 years, but a year and a half if I get halfway house.
Wow, sir. Did you have an attorney at the time, or did you have a
I had
public
an
defender?
attorney. Yeah, the public defender actually worked with the prosecutors.
Mm.
A month after I was sentenced, my attorney, is now a prosecutor for Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he was in the midst of becoming a prosecutor while he was doing my case and never told me.
Mm.
He even took $1,800 from me for a state case. And that state case, I fought for 12 years and got taken off me myself. And I went to the Better Business Bureau and all that about the case. And he says he needs to check his files to see if he owed me $1,800. But he basically robbed me because he knew they was going to put me away for anywhere between 188 months to 235 months, which is 19 years, 8 months, somewhere around there.
Wow. Unfortunately, I've been hearing a lot of stuff like this where it's just a conflict of interest, where
Yeah.
that particular public defender should have recused himself from this case, especially pending employment. Um, that's ridiculous. Were you
Yeah.
able to get all your paperwork? Like, what were they able to provide you? Because I'm seeing this now. A lot of people are trying to go back and get copies of transcripts or copies of evidence or anything used in trial. Were you given all your copies after trial?
No, he wasn't given to me. I had to go through the courts because when I tried to appeal it I tried to use the appeal rights of ineffective assistance to counsel and try to go back into court. They told me being that I pled guilty to the case, I I threw away all my appeal rights. But I argued the fact that that this guy was very ineffective. Even when I argued in court, I had to do most of the arguing myself. I was, hey man, they're giving me drug case that I haven't even been found guilty on, which is the case he took $1,800 for. They was giving me points for that. My points was at 24. It shot from 24 to 34, which is automatic, like life. You can give me life for a gun.
Wow.
And they're just, it's crazy. But they got it under the Armed Career Law. They use under the residual clause, and they was actually getting me for the residual clause. They turned around and said, no, it doesn't fall under the residual clause. Now that we did away with the residual clause, yours fall up under the enumerated clause, which actually says any crime of force that would attempted force, attempted force, or to use of property. I've been armed careered on 2 domestic assault and batteries and 1 possession with intent to distribute. And that's what they armed careered me on. And the domestic is with my wife. One of them did happen, the other one didn't happen. It was big crazy madness out there, and she's with me to this day. 20 years later, she's still with me, riding this time with me.
Yes, sir. Well, talking about your wife, you had a son on the way prior to you being sentenced. How has your prison sentence affected your family? How has that been like for them and your relationship with them? Have you been able to see them at all?
No, I haven't seen nobody in 12.
This call is from a federal prison.
I haven't seen my sisters. I got 4 sisters. I got 3 kids, Angel, Cameron, and my son, Sincere. They all in their 20s now. I haven't been in none of their lives.
Oh, my goodness. I know it must have been hard, especially with you trying to see your son being brought into this world.
Yeah. I was there to see him brought in by the time they got me. I got arrested a few weeks after he was born. It was good to see my daughter Angel born. I didn't get to see my daughter Cameron born, but I did get to see my son born. It's a beautiful thing when you see your kids born in, but not being able to be in contact with the baby mothers, and most of them knew where I was at, but chose to move on with their life, which is not a problem, but it becomes a problem when the kids get older, and they're resentful towards me because I wasn't there. It's, I definitely understand that. I made choices that caused conflict between me and mine, and it hurt.
Yes, sir.
There's only one option: work. And once you get a job, maintain it and have leadership in that job. Show that you want the job more than anything else, because at the end of the day, that's what you need to survive and have standards, show growth, and be there for your family.
Yes, sir. And so, speaking of jobs, I'm sure you've seen on the news how bad today's economy is, which again can lead more of our youth down a life of crime, just trying to provide for their families, just because it's so few opportunities out here for good paying jobs. What would you say to the youth today?
It's hard. Nothing's easy, and anything that seems easy is not worth having, because you have it 1 minute and it's gone the next. It's easy to get it, just like it's easy to take it away. So the best thing to do is plan ahead.
Yes,
If
sir.
you don't have a plan, you're off your teeter off the brake. Planning is necessary. It's the three P's in life. Plan, prepare, pursue. Without those three P's, success nowhere to be evident. Never become successful without those three P's.
Yes,
Need
sir.
them in that order. And you got to have integrity about yourself and the values that you stand on. So to tell them to go get a job, that is the plan.
Yes, sir.
To actually fill out the application, that is the pursuing. That is preparing it. And the pursuing it is going to work and not missing days and calling out. Go to work.
Thank you for giving me a call back.
Okay.
Okay, so next question I wanted to get into, because you were talking about the three P's in life: plan, prepare, and pursue, and also having integrity along with that. Can you talk about when you get home, what do you plan to do?
Oh, man. It's the evolution. I'm coming out. I'm going to be doing, Facebook Lives. I'm going to be doing a lot of my poetry Facebook Lives. I'm going to take my poetry that I do have, and I'm going to be putting it on CDs. I'm going to be trying to do lectures with the mentor and the youth with free minds out of Washington, D.C., and try to help expand and grow their workshop, the writing workshop. I've been dealing with them since 2013. Sarah and all of them. I'm an actual free mind member. And I'm just get all these books. I got to get some people behind me, some support behind me. And we're going to go, and we're going to help out these guys that's in here and help out the kids that need structure in their life.
Yes, sir.
But
and,
I'm trying to do.
And sir, I want to, since you talk about helping out the kids and you start talking about your poetry and helping and getting structure in people's lives, and I wanted to ask some more questions on the prison life, but I'm going to just go ahead and jump into your poetry really quickly, because that really interests me. So what has sparked your passion to start creating poetry while in prison?
You know what? I have to be honest with you. It all really started with a lie. I was with this girl, but she's my wife now, 20 years ago, and we was writing one another. I didn't know her when I was in the street. I met her when I was locked up. And I was just letting her know, like, yeah, I write poetry. Never wrote a poem a day in my life.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I got you. She was like, okay, but, you know what I mean? Like, I want to hear something. I want to hear, like, so I said, all right, cool. So I wrote a poem. It was one of the most beautiful poems about, I used movie titles, a creative poem. That's going to be one of the poems that I dropped for y'all, my very first poem, and then I'm going to give y'all another sneak preview into what else I got.
Okay. So did you study poetry at all, like in school? Like, was it something you're passionate about, or you just?
I used to go in the libraries and look up poetry, Langston Hughes and all that stuff. And
Okay.
I used to try to read on the under because I was kind of thuggish in the street, but I still was articulate and book smart. So it was reading Maya Angelou and everything. It was like, man, I really love this.
Wow.
But I figured I could write it. But my poetry really came from people like Tupac and Biggie. And those kind of guys. Those are poets. They're
Yes,
rappers,
sir.
but they're poets.
Poets. Yes, sir. Who is your favorite poet?
Oh, man. On poet status, I'm going to say Miss Maya Angelou.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac, Kendrick Lamar, guys like Eminem, guys that really got T.I., guys that got a lot of that knows got substance when they talk. They're not just talking about bang, 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 shoot 'em up.
Yes, sir.
Give me some substance, and you got my attention.
Okay. So, and you talked a little bit about your project. Well, you got four books ready to publish.
That's 4 poetry books.
Four
I got
poetry.
over I got over 2,700 poems that I wrote in the
Wow.
20-year span, and I got 4 books called The Prisoner's Passion. The first one is called Contemplation. The second one is called Prisoner's Passion Through the Looking Glass. The third one is called Prisoner's Passion, My Good, My Bad, My Ugly. And the last one is called Prisoner's Passion, the finale. And
And
I'm working prior.
oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I said I'm priorly working on a novel, a fiction novel, and 2 love novels, and a 365 days of romance.
Wow. So it sounds like your work has a wide range of message, or the genres just depend. You're just putting out quality work, not necessarily sticking
Yeah.
to one genre or one focus point.
Yeah. It's like when I was in the challenge program, I had mentor status in there, and it was like I used to do poetry every few weeks for the whole week, called the Thought of the Day. And I was just touching people. I put grown men in tears in there with some of the poems that I put down. People was like looking at me, was like, "Hey, go on, Red. We ain't know that you was like that." And I was like, "Cause I'm real quiet. I'm a quiet dude,
Yes, sir.
but I speak volumes when I do talk."
Okay. Well, sir, I hadn't announced this yet, but I put some brochures in the mail this week, so you guys will probably be getting them next week. But I'm starting a contest for rappers, singers, and poets like yourself to
This call is from a federal prison.
jump on the call and present their work, their original work, and it's the the person that has, the artist or poet that has the most views by the beginning of September is going to win the $300 prize. So
I'm with that.
so yeah, you're gonna be the first person that jumps on. It's called Prison Spit, and I partner with
Okay.
Mr. Beverly Claiborne on this. This is This is one of his babies, Prison Spit. So
Okay.
yes, sir. So if you could, you go ahead and start giving me your first poem, and then when you're ready, you jump into the next one. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm gonna give y'all my very first poem I ever wrote. This was back in 2001, people. For y'all, so I just don't get all the way on, political and everything like that. So y'all, I do got a love side of me. This one here is called "If We Were a Movie." Lean on me, stand by me as the purple rain fall from the sky. For you are beloved, a dance with wolves, a poetic justice woman I see with my eyes. And as you make silence of the lambs and your beauty flow through your roots, I'll do the right thing in order to be your man. For we are Beauty and the Beast, and I want us in too deep. Just don't make this Pulp Fiction to me. For you are my Titanic, and I'll go down with this ship. Face off with anyone who does you harm. Because I'll be gone in 60 seconds to rush hour traffic and be bout it when I come to set it off. No, you don't need a mask to cover your beauty. For your body is a lethal weapon. I'm having fatal attraction as you are walking by. I climb a mountain no matter how high. Jump Geronimo to save your life and escape from Alcatraz to be by your side. Not even the boys in the hood can keep me away. Because you're tough. You my universal soldier. Woman, you are my G.I. Jane. And I would be dumber and dumber not to want you, and a liar to say that I don't. For your body is your matrix filled with more better blues, than I'll be sleepless in Seattle dreaming of you. To where you can have a nightmare on Elm Street, and your scream can echo for days. Not even the children of the corn can keep me away. Because there's not an anaconda a mile long or a Congo 10 men strong that can give me the 5 heartbeats that I get when our eyes meet. So tell me, can we dirty dance the night away so free? And if Romeo must die for us to be, then there's no time to kill. Meet me at midnight on top of Sugar Hill. Because I'm going to keep it real. It's hard to kill a love this deep. It goes spend life with me for eternity if we were only a movie.
Wow.
And the second poem.
Sir, that was
and
amazing. Go ahead.
and the second poem, this right here, this is going to go out for all the black lives out there. I'm going to spit some real truth here, people. So hear me and hear me loud and clear. All our black lives. Truth be told, these will be the truest words I'll ever quote. The hardest truth I ever wrote. As the ink pours like tears from my emotional pen. Reality soaks in. Like it's been absorbed in the pores of your skin. So let's say the fact. The past came back like a bad rash with an itch we can't scratch.
This call is from a federal prison.
It became infectious like staph, infecting our families, our communities, in the aftermath. Our futures are poisoned like anthrax. The black holocaust of generation genocide. And shots are fired, and babies are caught in the crossfire. Mama's feeling numb on the inside with feelings she can't describe. Damn fools, these are black lives you keep driving by. Let them racial profile it and justify their violence. When we throw rocks, bottles, and bonfires, the news call it riots when they televise it. But where's our heroes and role models? We got heathens leading missions for the corner block empire. It's not them against us. It's us against our own kind. All these young lives being taken to gangster terror life, leaving behind a long line of funerals, grieving souls and wet eyes, for senseless reasons. Why? Like color pride. An ego street reputation rise in the street war for the cash incentive. The black man's judgment is to pack the prisons and let us all rot until our race diminish, just to label us deadbeats in our kids' statistics. While mama shoulders the shame and fades the blame when the kids don't listen. Families crumble to a mass of good riddance and to being welfare privilege. Young lives short-sighted by unclear visions. A chef in the kitchen, whipping up dynamics for the next epidemic. Those are clouded minds blowing pipe dreams from rags to riches. The truth is, they only lead to prisons and 6 feet ditches. Young girls getting low and going for broke for a pot to piss in. Education's not even in the picture. With sex, drugs, money, and liquor, the older you get, the harder the living, depending on the system. Take what's given and do it with a smile. Now I'm wondering now, is that a hand up or a hand me down? I told you this, truth be told. See, I'm in a pen shackled by iron with a heart of gold. A trapped soul with a voice so heavy I can't hold. So hear me through these walls of concrete. I was once my own worst enemy. I refuse to let the younger generation be the death of me. Just some food for thought I refuse to eat. So understand this. We are at a plus and a minus. Our race is multiplying, plus is partly rising. Yet we're still divided. Do the math. It all adds up to segregation. See, I want to help us mend us instead of being part of the separation. I'm trying to scream from the rooftops while I'm chained up and locked in a basement. My quiet is not kept. My future is not ripe for the taking, because I'm ready to push a hard line, fight hard for all mine. Every black man, woman, and child who will unify and stand proud as I make a change. Stand for something, one will fall for everything. And if you need to use this poem as a mirror reflection to see, then you'll realize it's not you, it's not me, it's all our black lives. It's we, black lives.
Wow. Sir, that was powerful. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your work with me, sharing it with the audience. That, sir, that was really good.
I'd like to give a shout out, if I can, to all my Washington, D.C. homies. Big shout out to Washington, D.C. I want to give a big shout out to Nate Hill, big family out there, and his family, you, Jasmine Moore, my wife, Jennifer, my kids, Sincere, Cameron, Angel, I love you. My family, the Harrison family, the Proctor family, the Savoy family, I'm going to give y'all big shout outs too. And just want to thank everybody, man. We got to do this. We got to come together. We just gonna continue to keep falling down this hill. It's a hard climb, but somebody got to climb it. We all just got to stand on each other's backbones instead of being like crabs and pulling each other back down in the bucket.
Yes, sir.
That's just how I feel. And Miss Jasmine, I really thank you for this time, and let me get this word out. And I would definitely be staying in contact with you.
All right, thank
and
you.
If anybody want to help support this back us. We need y'all. We need all the support we can get because we can't do it by ourselves. Unify.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much. I just want to say I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you sharing your private thoughts and work with us. It means a lot. So I'm tremendously grateful, and God bless you and your family, sir.
You too. God